You're 8 years old, and from the moment you put on pads, you were taught that violence was a language, and you learned to speak it fluently. While other kids were dreaming of throwing touchdowns, you were playing back Ray Lewis hits on YouTube and practicing your war face in the mirror. You weren't chasing glory, you were chasing pain, and you've been addicted to the chaos ever since your first tackle. By middle school, you're not just making tackles, you're making statements. You're the reason running backs start hesitating at the line of scrimmage. Slot receivers start hearing footsteps before they even catch the ball. High school? You're the quarterback of the defense as a sophomore, calling plays, reading offenses, making grown men on the sideline nervous when you start pointing and barking assignments. Your highlight tape looks like a compilation of personal vendettas. 17 tackles in the state championship, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and that hit on the tight end that made him rethink his career path. College recruiters don't just want you, they need you. Every major program is selling you the same dream. We're going to build our defense around you. And why wouldn't they? You're the kind of linebacker that makes offensive coordinators throw their headsets. You choose the powerhouse program with the tradition and the jerseys that mean something. Day 1, you're competing for the starting spot. By week 3, you are the starting spot. The seniors respect you. The coaches trust you. The offense practices against you and goes home sore. Junior year, you're leading the team in tackles, but more importantly, you're leading them in intensity. When you talk, the whole defense listens. When you make a play, the whole stadium feels it. Senior year, you're a unanimous All-American, Dick Butkus Award finalist, the kind of linebacker that gets remembered in the same sentence as the legends. NFL scouts aren't just watching you, they're taking notes on how to teach other players to be you. The combine is your personal showcase. You run a 4.5 40 at 240 pounds. You bench press numbers that make offensive linemen nervous. Your vertical jump is higher than most safeties. But here's what really impresses scouts. Your football IQ test scores are off the charts. Draft night arrives and you're projected top 15, maybe top 10 if a team falls in love with your instincts. You're wearing the suit, sitting with family, waiting for your name. The first 10 picks fly by. Quarterbacks, edge rushers, offensive tackles. Then you hear it. With the 12th pick in the NFL draft, your name, your moment, your dream. The contract is solid, 4 years, mostly guaranteed. Your agent reminds you that linebackers who can think and hit like you don't come around often. You're not just getting drafted, you're getting drafted to be the guy. Training camp is your introduction to NFL speed. Everything happens faster, the offensive coordinators are smarter, the running backs are more patient, the tight ends are bigger. But you adapt, because that's what great linebackers do. They evolve. Week 1, you're starting middle linebacker for an NFL team. The offensive coordinator across the field has been scheming against linebackers for 20 years. The running back you're facing rushed for over 1,400 yards last season. The tight end you're covering has 40 career touchdowns. Welcome to the NFL, kid. First play from scrimmage. You diagnose the run correctly, fill your gap, and make the tackle for a 2-yard gain. The veteran running back gets up, pats your helmet, and says, "Good hit, Rook. You think you've got this figured out." Third play, play action. You bite on the fake. The tight end runs right past you, and it's 6 points. The quarterback doesn't even look your way when he throws it. He knew you'd bite before you did. This is what you learn your rookie year. NFL offenses aren't just trying to score on you, they're trying to make you think. They're trying to make you guess. They're trying to make you wrong. Every week is a chess match, and you're still learning the rules while playing grandmasters. You finished your rookie season with 120 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. Defensive Rookie of the Year conversations. Pro Bowl alternate. The future looks bright. But you also finished with 12 missed tackles, 4 blown coverages, and that one play in week 14 where you got juked so hard you ended up on SportsCenter's not top 10. Because that's what being a rookie linebacker teaches you. Excellence isn't enough. You need to be perfect. And perfect is exhausting. Years 2 through 6 are when you realize why they call it the grind. You're not learning anymore, you're surviving. Every Sunday, you're absorbing hits from 250-pound running backs who run 4.4 40s. Every play, you're reading keys from quarterbacks who've been fooling linebackers since before you were born. Your body becomes a collection of managed injuries. Your left shoulder clicks when you raise it above your head. Your right knee swells after every game. Your back spasms on Tuesday mornings. But you play through it because that's what linebackers do. The hits aren't just physical anymore, they're cumulative. Every collision deposits a little more damage in your account, and you're starting to realize the balance is getting high. You're making Pro Bowls now. You're getting all-pro votes. You're the heartbeat of the defense. But you're also taking cortisone shots to get through the week and Advil to get through the day. Your rookie contract ends, and the negotiations are interesting. You want to get paid like the elite linebacker you've become. The front office wants to pay you like a system player who benefits from good coaching. Your agent reminds you that linebacker contracts don't look like quarterback contracts. You sign the extension. 4 years, decent money, but not life-changing money. Not compared to what the quarterback makes, not compared to what the edge rusher makes, not even compared to what the safety makes. Because you play linebacker. Because you're replaceable. Because every college has 3 linebackers who can run and hit, and only 1 quarterback who can read a defense. You're 29 years old, and you're losing a step. Not according to the film. You're still making every tackle, still calling the right plays, still leading the defense. But according to the analytics department, your burst is down 3% from last season. 3%! That's the difference between elite and declining. The team starts talking about managing your snaps. They draft a linebacker in the 3rd round, just for depth. They start giving you veteran rest days during practice. They start asking you if you're feeling okay after every game. What they're really asking is, are you done yet? The rookie they drafted, he's fast, he's healthy, he's cheap. He runs a 4.4 40 and doesn't need cortisone shots to get out of bed. He also missed 6 tackles in his first preseason game and got lost in coverage twice. But he's got upside. You've got mileage. Week 3, you make a mistake. 1 blown coverage, 1 touchdown pass, 1 play where you're half a step slow and the tight end gets behind you. It happens to every linebacker, even Hall of Famers. But you're 29, so it's not a mistake. It's a sign of decline. Suddenly, every tackle you make is still showing flashes. Every play you make is proving he's still got something left. Every game you play is viewed through the lens of Father Time. The rookie starts getting more snaps, not because he's better, but because he's younger. The coaches start talking about the future and developing talent. The front office starts talking about cap management and getting younger. You're not declining, you're just not improving anymore. And in the NFL, if you're not getting better, you're getting replaced. You don't announce your retirement, you just stop getting calls. The team releases you after 8 seasons. The press release thanks you for your leadership and professionalism. You're old, expensive, and we've moved on. You work out for a few teams. You pass every physical test. You still know the game better than coaches half your age. But you're 31 years old in a league that thinks 31 is ancient for a linebacker. 1 team offers you a contract. Veteran minimum, 1 year, no guarantees. You'll be a backup, a mentor, a coach on the field. You'll make less money than the punter and get fewer snaps than the long snapper. You take it because you're not ready to stop. You take it because you still love the game. You take it because you don't know who you are without football. The season is torture. You watch from the sideline as the starter makes the same mistakes you made as a rookie. You watch him miss tackles you would have made in your sleep. You watch him get confused by formations you've been reading for a decade. But he's 24 and runs a 4.4 40, so he's the future. You're 31 and run a 4.6 40, so you're the past. Mid-season, they put you on injured reserve with a knee injury that doesn't exist. You've been cut, but they're doing it quietly, respectfully, like putting down an old dog. You clean out your locker on a Tuesday afternoon when the facility is empty. No cameras, no farewell speeches, no ceremony. Just you, your gear, and the silence of a career ending. Now you're watching games from your couch, and every linebacker on TV makes you think, I could still do that. Some of them you're right about. Some of them you're wrong about. All of them you're jealous of. Your body hurts when it rains. Your knees crack when you stand up. Your back seizes when you sleep wrong. You're 32 years old and you feel like you're 60. But you know what hurts more than your body? Watching linebackers who aren't half as smart as you were, half as instinctive as you were, half as passionate as you were, and they're making twice as much money as you ever did. You gave the game everything. Your body, your mind, your prime years, your health. You were the heartbeat of every defense you played on. And what did you get? A few Pro Bowls, some All-Pro votes, and a body that reminds you every morning that you used to play football. But here's the thing. If you could do it all over again, you would. Because there's nothing like the moment before the snap when you've diagnosed the play and you know exactly what's coming. There's nothing like the sound of pads colliding when you make the perfect tackle. There's nothing like the feeling of controlling the middle of the field and knowing that nothing gets past you. That's what you remember. That's what you miss. That's what made it all worth it.
Your first youth coach didn't ask your name. He just looked at your shoulders and said, tight end. Didn't matter that you dreamed of throwing touchdowns or dancing in the end zone. You were too fast for the linemen, too big for the receivers. So they threw you into football purgatory and said, block him, now run a route. One coach said you were born for this. Another said you had controlled aggression. They meant it as a compliment. But even as a kid, you weren't sure if the violence on the field was the only kind you carried. By 12, you were already lifting like a varsity player. By 14, college scouts were whispering your name. They loved how you finished blocks, loved that you didn't celebrate touchdowns, loved the edge in your eyes. Nobody ever asked if you were okay. Because when you're that talented, that cold, they just call you a dog and hand you more punishment. You were a generational tight end before you were old enough to drive. And behind the stats, the mixtapes, the D1 offers, there was a storm building. High school Friday nights, you were a nightmare matchup. Too big for corners, too fast for linebackers. You were clearing out safeties with drag routes and putting dudes in body bags on trap blocks. The weight room was your sanctuary, the end zone, your kingdom. Coaches said you were the prototype. Recruiters flew across the country just to watch you flatten a linebacker and catch a fade on the very next play. You were a blue-chip, 5-star, can't-miss prospect, the kind that schools fight over, and they said, you're the next Gronk. Not knowing Gronk's had 3 back surgeries, 4 arm breaks, and walks like a Lego man when it rains. You didn't ask questions, you signed the letter. Chose a program that said you'd be featured in the offense. They had a tight end tradition, multiple guys in the league. The tight end room was sacred. The weight of legacy? Heavy. You arrived at camp ready to become a legend. First day, the strength coach called you a savage. Second day, you cracked a safety's helmet in practice. By the end of week 1, they were saying you could be a day 1 starter. Every Saturday, you lined up against future first-round pass rushers, 270-pound monsters with violent hands and personal vendettas. And no one cared if you won those battles. They just cared if the quarterback stayed vertical. When you did run routes, it was always the suicide missions. 3rd and long, 5 yards, right into traffic. Eyes over your shoulder, knowing some safety was about to separate your soul from your body. The kind of hits that make your family text you after games just to make sure you can still spell your name. Your stats were trash. Your body ached constantly. But NFL scouts love the film. Tough kid, plays with violence, does the dirty work. Translation, perfect victim. You didn't need to shine. You just needed to survive. And somehow, you did. That was mistake number 2. Because surviving taught them you could take more punishment. And they were just getting started. The NFL Combine was designed to expose weaknesses. For tight ends, it exposed the impossible. They measured your hands like you were buying gloves, poked your joints like a used car inspection, asked if your parents were married, stared into your eyes and asked if you'd ever felt pure rage. You smiled and gave the practiced answers. Yes, sir. Whatever the team needs. Just blessed to be here. But inside, you were exhausted before you even started. You were running on caffeine, creatine, and childhood trauma. You benched 225 like your life depended on it. Because it kind of did. Then you sat in a hotel ballroom while men in polos argued over your motor like you were a used Ford F-150. Draft night felt like waiting for a terminal diagnosis. First round, 5 receivers went, 0 tight ends. Second round, 7 offensive linemen, still waiting. Finally, pick 47, buried in the middle of round 2. You hung up the phone, hugged your mom, and cried like you'd made it. For a moment, you actually believed it. The first time you walked into the NFL facility, you felt it. The silence, the tension, the fact that nobody made eye contact, unless they were trying to size you up. Veterans didn't waste words on rookies. Other rookies were lying and pretending they weren't terrified. Your tight ends coach handed you an iPad and said, "Learn it by tomorrow." The playbook wasn't thick. It was hostile. Formations, adjustments, hot reads, audibles. Half your job was knowing everyone else's job. Training camp felt like prison with protein shakes. You woke up sore, went to bed limping. Coaches screamed about pad level while your neck stung from yesterday's goal line drill. Your only job was to survive and not screw up. Week 1, you chipped a defensive end and felt your ribs shift like broken piano keys. Week 6, dislocated your pinky, popped it back in during the huddle because there's no such thing as hurt at your position. Week 9, Week 12, your hamstring pulled, but you played through it because the backup was worse. Years 2 and 3 were your development phase. Translation: they broke you in properly. Defensive coordinators figured out your tendencies. They matched your blocking downs with their biggest defensive end. They defended your routes with their quickest linebacker or strongest safety. Every play was a mismatch by design. But somehow you started to figure it out. Your hands got better. Your route running sharpened. Your blocking improved from desperation to competence. Year 3, 500 yards receiving, solid blocking grades. Your first taste of actual success? Then came year 4, they called it your breakout season. 41 catches, 520 yards, 5 touchdowns, 12 starts. Your mom bought your jersey. Local reporters mentioned your name in articles. For the first time in your career, you felt like a real football player. But your body was already whispering the truth your mind wouldn't accept. Practice was now preceded by an hour of treatment. Recovery days were spent in ice baths and massage therapy. You were eating anti-inflammatories like Skittles. And you were only 25. But the stats looked good, so everyone assumed you were fine. Tight ends don't get the luxury of complaints. Just silent suffering wrapped in toughness narratives. Contract time revealed the year. Best tight end in the league. Maybe $15 million if you're Travis Kelce or George Kittle. Everyone else, scraps from the table. You had twice the responsibilities, twice the criticism, twice the ways to fail. And when contract talks stalled, they made their position clear. We can find another tight end. Your backup, who only ran routes, never blocked, got offered a similar deal. The message was crystal clear. Your body has absorbed too much damage to invest in long-term. You were 27. In tight end years, you were ancient. The writing was on the wall, written in MRI results and missed tackles. Your era was ending, and everyone knew it but you. Year 5 started with hope. New offensive coordinator, new scheme. They said you'd be more involved in the passing game. But your body had other plans. Half your explosiveness was gone. That crucial step that separated you from linebackers vanished. Your blocking power had diminished from accumulated shoulder damage. The rookie tight end started stealing snaps, first in practice, then in games. Coaches called it keeping everyone fresh. You knew it was a polite way of saying you're done. The brutal reality hit during week 8. You were running a simple crossing route, something you'd done thousands of times. But your body, battered from years of football's most contradictory demands, simply couldn't respond. The linebacker you used to easily outrun, he was right on your hip. The safety you used to stiff arm, he drove through you like a truck. Team doctors became your closest relationship. 2 hours of treatment before practice, 2 more hours after. Game days required multiple painkilling injections just to function. Your medical file was thicker than the playbook, the price of being football's most demanding position. Template language for a disposable career. Now you watch games on Sundays, every spectacular Travis Kelce catch, every devastating George Kittle block comes with an invisible price tag. Their bodies deteriorating in real time, the way they favor their left shoulder getting up, the slight limp after goal line collisions, the 1,000-yard stare after a helmet-to-helmet hit that the refs don't call. When people ask what position you played, tight end never gets the respect. Not like quarterback or even linebacker selection, you feel that familiar twinge. Some poor kid with a perfect tight end frame about to learn the lesson you learned too late. That being good at two positions is the quickest path to being broken at both. His coach will call him the prototype. His agent will promise he's the next generation. And for a few years, he'll believe it until his body starts whispering.
You were always the biggest kid in class. While other kids complained about their weight, you learned to use yours as a weapon. By middle school, coaches were already salivating over your size and mean streak. You didn't just block defenders, you buried them. You finished every play with violence, not because you had to, but because you wanted to. High school becomes your kingdom. You're not fast, you're not pretty, but you're meaner than anyone who steps across from you. The quarterback gets all the attention, but he wouldn't last 5 minutes without you. You create running lanes so wide trucks could drive through them. You give him so much time in the pocket, he could file his taxes back there. Do you get the credit? Hell no. But you don't care. You love the violence. You live for the moment when you can legally destroy another human being. College recruiters come calling because of your nastiness. They don't care about your GPA or your character. They want that dog in you. You choose the school that promises to make you meaner, stronger, more violent. College ball is where you learn the real tricks. The holds that look legal. The late hits that seem accidental. The psychological warfare that happens between whistles. You're not just blocking anymore, you're breaking spirits. Your junior year, you're team captain, not because you're the most talented, but because you're the most feared. Teammates respect you, opponents avoid eye contact. Your quarterback throws for 4,000 yards because you give him all day. Your running back rushes for 1,500 yards because you're moving mountains. The Heisman voters don't even know your name, but every defensive coordinator in the country game plans around you. The NFL draft treats you like livestock at auction. They measure everything: your arms, your hands, your flexibility. You bench 225 pounds 37 times and run a 5.2 40. Not bad for someone carrying 320 pounds of muscle and rage. The scouts love your nasty streak and finishing ability. Translation: you're mean enough to survive in their world. Third round, you hear your name called. Not first round like the quarterback, not second round like the receiver. Third round, where the workhorses go. Your family celebrates, but you know the truth. You're expendable, replaceable. One injury away from irrelevance. Training camp is war. You're fighting for your life against veterans who've been doing this for years. They don't help you. Why would they? You're trying to take their job, their money, their identity. Every practice is a battle. Every rep matters. The coaches scream at you constantly. Your technique isn't perfect. Your footwork needs work. Your hands aren't strong enough yet. Your first game, you give up a sack. The quarterback gets planted, and it's your fault. In the film room, they play it over and over. Everyone watching your failure in slow motion. The veterans shake their heads. The coaches make notes. You're not ready, but ready or not, this is your job now. By year 3, you've figured it out. You're not just surviving anymore, you're dominating. Pass rushers fear you. Your quarterback has all day to throw. Your running back consistently finds holes. The offense clicks, and you're the engine making it run. Do you get credit? Of course not. Linemen only get noticed when they fail. You make the Pro Bowl as an alternate, not because you weren't good enough, but because nobody votes for guards. The fans vote for skill players they recognize from highlights. You've been elite for 3 years, but your name isn't on any jerseys. Kids don't pretend to be you in the backyard. You're anonymous excellence. The body starts breaking down around year 5. The 320 pounds that makes you dominant also destroys your joints. Your knees ache constantly. Your back seizes without warning. You eat 6,000 calories a day just to maintain your size. Your hands are permanently swollen from years of combat. You pop painkillers like candy just to practice. The media ignores you completely until you screw up. One holding call and you're undisciplined. One missed block and you're struggling. Meanwhile, the receiver drops 3 passes and he's just having an off day. The quarterback throws 2 picks and he's taking chances. But you, one mistake, and you're trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons. Year 7, you finally make the actual Pro Bowl, not as an alternate, as a starter. The recognition feels good, but it's hollow. You've been this good for years. Why did it take so long for people to notice? In Hawaii, you dominate in practice, pancake Hall of Famers in the game, and get 0 camera time. All the highlights show skilled players playing touch football while you're out there actually competing. Year 9, they draft your replacement, 2nd round pick, fresh out of college, 30 pounds lighter and 10 years younger. They call it adding depth, but you know what it means. Father Time is undefeated and he's coming for you next. The young kid studies your every move, learns your techniques, waits for his chance to take your job. Your body betrays you first. The pass rusher you've dominated for years suddenly beats you clean. Not because he got better, because you got slower. Your footwork is still perfect. Your hands are still strong, but you've lost that crucial half step. In a game of inches, half a step might as well be a mile. The fans turn on you immediately. People who couldn't pick you out of a lineup suddenly become experts on your technique. He's washed, they type from their couches. Cuck the old man. The same fans who never knew your name when you were great are now experts on your decline. Sports radio hosts debate whether you're done at 30. 30! When quarterbacks are just hitting their prime. Mid-season, the inevitable happens. Coach calls you into his office. We're going in a different direction. The rookie takes your job. You become a veteran mentor, NFL code for expensive backup. You dress for games but rarely play. When you do, it's garbage time or goal line. The position you've mastered for a decade is suddenly someone else's. They release you in March. No ceremony, no thank you, just a phone call from someone you've never met. 8 years of protecting their franchise quarterback, and you get 5 minutes of small talk before they just wish you luck. Professional sports is a business, they remind you, as if you needed reminding. Free agency is humbling. Your agent makes calls, but teams aren't interested. Too old, too expensive, too many miles. The offers that come are insulting. Minimum wage with no guarantees. You've gone from Pro Bowler to afterthought in 2 seasons. Finally, one team takes a chance. New city, new teammates, new chance to prove you're not finished. But this locker room is different. Toxic. The young players don't respect veterans. They think they know better than guys who've been doing this for a decade. The disrespect builds day after day. You bite your tongue, do your job, but the frustration grows. You're supposed to be the leader, but nobody wants to follow. Then it happens. One conversation goes too far. Words are said, lines are crossed. The same intensity that made you great as a player makes you a liability as a person. What should have stayed in the locker room goes public. Suddenly, you're not a veteran leader, you're a locker room cancer. The team cuts you immediately. Other teams won't touch you. Not because you can't play, but because you're a distraction. Your career ends not because your body gave out, but because you finally fought back against years of disrespect. In a league that gives second chances to actual criminals, losing your temper makes you unemployable. Retirement isn't a choice. It's forced on you. You're 31 with the body of a 50-year-old and no skills except moving large humans against their will. Your knees need surgery. Your back is shot. Your hands don't work right anymore. The NFL pension helps, but it's not enough. You try to stay in football, but nobody wants you. High school kids don't respect ex-linemen. College programs hire former quarterbacks and skill players. The NFL blackballs you over one incident while employing coaches with actual criminal records. The same aggression they loved on the field becomes a liability off it. So you watch from home. You see offensive lines getting worse as teams prioritize speed over strength. You watch quarterbacks get killed because their protection can't handle basic pass rushes. You see the position you sacrifice your body for being devalued in real time. Analytics nerds who've never put on pads explain why guards aren't worth paying. The worst part? Nobody remembers the good years. They remember the controversy. 8 years of elite play erased by one bad moment. Your legacy isn't the quarterback you kept clean or the running backs you cleared paths for. It's the incident that ended everything. For a decade, you were the foundation, the anonymous hero who made everyone else look good. You protected million-dollar quarterbacks who never learned your name. You opened holes for running backs who got all the glory. You were the most important player nobody cared about. Now, you're just a cautionary tale. A reminder that in the NFL, some positions matter more than others. Quarterbacks get statues. Receivers get endorsements. Linemen get forgotten. Until they're gone, and everyone wonders why the offense stopped working. But you know what doesn't suck? The draft, where some kid is about to learn that being big and mean is just the beginning. Welcome to the trenches, rookie. Hope you're ready to be the most important player nobody remembers.
You got your first cleats at 7, dreaming of breaking tackles. While others wanted to throw spirals, you craved contact. By 4th grade, you were every defense's nightmare. The kid who made coaches whisper, "That boy ain't right." Your highlight tape looked like a crime scene. You didn't just run with the ball, you punished anyone who dared to tackle you. Your high school coach saw what you could do and fed you the rock 25 times a game. First snap Friday night, touchdown. Second quarter, 2 more scores. By halftime, parents from the other team were screaming at their defensive coordinator while you sat on the bench, barely breaking a sweat. You weren't just winning games. You were ending coaching careers. Those Friday night lights, they were all for you. Recruiting was a circus, 5-star status, all the big programs calling. You had more highlight reels than the quarterback had completions. College coaches promised you'd be the centerpiece of their offense. "We're going to build around you," they said. And why wouldn't they? You were averaging 200 yards a game, making defenders look like they were running in quicksand. You chose the powerhouse program with the best O-line. Smart move. Freshman year, you're splitting carries, learning the system. By sophomore year, you're the guy. The stadium erupts when you touch the ball because everyone knows what's coming. Violence disguised as athleticism. You break the school's single-season rushing record. Make the all-conference team. ESPN drafts you in the first round of their Heisman watch list. Junior year, you're unstoppable. Over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 22 touchdowns. But it's cool. You're going pro anyway. Why risk another season of wear and tear? The Combine is your personal showcase. You run a 4.440, bench 225 pounds, 23 times, and dominate every drill. And you're wearing a custom suit that costs more than your mom's car. You sit at the green room table with your family, waiting for your name. The first 10 picks fly by, no running backs. The commissioner walks to the podium again. With the 27th pick in the NFL draft, the Chiefs select not you. The Packers pass. The Bills take a linebacker. Finally, with the last pick of the first round, you hear your name. The room applauds politely like they do for every pick. You smile for the cameras, but inside you're seething. 26 teams passed on you, including 6 that took receivers. Welcome to the modern NFL, kid. Your rookie contract is decent money, but nothing like the QBs or edge rushers. 4 years, partially guaranteed. Your agent reminds you to save. Running backs rarely get second contracts, let alone big ones. But you're different. You'll be the exception. Training camp is your first taste of NFL reality. Veterans don't talk to you much. What's the point? You'll be gone in 4 years, replaced by some other young buck who doesn't have 600 college carries on his odometer. The offensive coordinator talks about a committee approach and situational football. Translation, You'll be splitting carries with that 29-year-old journeyman who somehow keeps finding work despite averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Rookie year starts promising. You break a 50-yard run in your first game. The crowd goes wild. The next day on sports radio, they're already comparing you to Adrian Peterson. By week 4, you've taken over as the starter. You're top 10 in rushing by mid-season. Then it happens. A helmet to the knee, a pop, a scream, the medical cart. Season over. Rehab is brutal. 8 months of pushing through pain while watching the team draft another running back in the 3rd round. Just as insurance. You tell yourself it's motivation, not replacement planning. Year 2, you're back, but not the same. That burst is just a step slower. The cuts aren't as sharp. You still manage 1,200 yards from scrimmage and 8 touchdowns. The team calls it a success. The analytics nerds online say you're replaceable and league average in the yards after contact. Your agent starts talking extension, but the GM wants to see 1 more year. They love you, but not enough to commit. Year 3 is your redemption tour. You train like a madman, show up to camp with 3% less body fat. You lead the league in rushing through 8 games. Then, the workload catches up. Your touches drop from 25 to 18 to 12 a game as they manage your reps. The backup starts taking 3rd downs because he's better in pass protection. Every carry becomes precious. Every game a silent audition for your next contract. Free agency finally arrives after your rookie deal. Your agent is confident. 1,000-yard rushers don't grow on trees, but the offers are underwhelming. 2 years with team options, incentive-heavy deals, prove-it contracts. Meanwhile, mediocre quarterbacks are getting $30 million guaranteed. The team that drafted you offers a hometown discount. That's really just an insult wrapped in PR-friendly language. You take the best offer, 3 years with only the first guaranteed. Fans call you greedy. Analysts call it an overpay. You can't win. Your new team immediately drafts a running back in the 4th round. Competition brings out the best, they say. What they mean is they're already planning for your replacement before you've even moved into your new apartment. The offensive line is worse than advertised. The scheme doesn't fit your running style. By midseason, you're splitting carries with the rookie. The beat writers start articles with, "While still effective, ... The kiss of death for any running back over 26. Year 6, and your body is a roadmap of football trauma. Both knees have been scoped. Your shoulders click when you raise your arms. Your toes are permanently crooked. The team doctors know you by name and birthday without checking the chart. You still remember what it felt like to make that first cut and accelerate, but your body has forgotten. Pre-game now involves 2 hours of treatment just to feel functional. Post-game is ice baths and pain management. Tuesday is your only good day. Monday, you're too sore. Wednesday, practice starts the cycle again. They restructure your contract before the final year. For cap purposes, they say. Really, they're just cutting your pay while maintaining the ability to release you without penalty. You agree, because what choice do you have? The backup from last year is now the hot new thing. While sports talk shows debate whether you have anything left in the tank. You're 27 years old. The beginning of the end happens suddenly. Week 3, routine carry up the middle. You plan to cut, and your body just doesn't respond. The defender you would have made miss 2 years ago now hits you square. You bounce off and keep fighting because that's what you do. But everyone watching knows. The coaches know. The front office definitely knows. You've lost a step, and in your position, 1 step is the difference between a starter and the street. Mid-season, they tell you they're going in a different direction. The kid needs more carries. You're relegated to 3rd downs and short yardage, the football equivalent of being put out to pasture. You watch from the sideline as the rookie breaks one of your runs for 60 yards and the crowd roars louder than they ever did for you. Even your fantasy managers have abandoned you. The final indignity comes in week 14. Healthy scratch. Your jersey hangs in your locker while you watch in street clothes. The rookie fumbles twice. You know you could have helped, but nobody asks your opinion. In the offseason, they release you with a tweet and a press release thanking you for your contributions. 3 paragraphs to summarize a career that cost you your physical health and youth. You get one more chance, a veteran minimum deal with a team desperate after injuries. You pass the physical, barely. You learn the playbook, impress in practice. First game, you break a 22-yard run and it feels like old times. Second game, 2 touchdowns. For a moment, you think maybe there's a second act. Then reality, pulled hamstring, IR at Bernie. Released with an injury settlement. Just like that, you're a former NFL running back at 29. No farewell tour, no ceremonial carry, no gold watch. Nothing but silence from a league that used your body until it broke and then moved on without a second thought. Your career highlights get packaged into a 45-second montage when the rookie who replaced you breaks one of your team records. The announcers mention your name with that tone. He was a good one in his day. You watch the games on Sundays now, feeling phantom pain when you see hits that you used to deliver and absorb. The league has changed. More passing, more committees, fewer feature backs. Running backs are getting drafted later, paid less. You text with the guys still playing, but the conversations are always the same. Bodies hurting, teams looking elsewhere, the constant anxiety of being replaced. Remember that feeling when you first got the ball at 7 years old? How everything made sense when you were running. That pure joy of breaking tackles and finding daylight. Nobody warns you that the price for those moments is a body that aches when it rains and knees that can't handle playing with your kids. For a few glorious years, you were the man with the ball. The one player that could silence an entire stadium with one cut. Now you're just another name on the list of backs who came and went. Your career a cautionary tale about the position with the shortest shelf life in professional sports.
You're the only kid on the field who doesn't want the ball. You don't dream of touchdowns, you dream of ruining them. While other kids imagine game-winning grabs, you picture yourself knocking the ball loose at the last second. You run backwards for fun. You mirror footsteps like they're your own shadow. You jump routes like you have a crystal ball. You've been this way since elementary school. You didn't copy the swagger, you invented it. By junior high, you're no longer a kid, you're a reputation. Each interception you make silences stands and shatters friendships. You're either worshipped or hated, nothing in between. High school is a blur. Your corner one is a sophomore, and no one questions it. Every Friday night, your job is to erase someone else's dreams. They try you once, maybe twice, then they stop. The quarterbacks already know to look away, the receivers already know not to celebrate too early. By senior year, you've got the visor, the tape, the drama, the offers. Everyone cheers your highlights, but no one sees your anxiety before each snap. One slip, one misread, one fraction of a second too slow, and everything you've built disappears. You're starting to wonder if greatness is worth what it takes from you. College? You walk onto campus and immediately start fights, not with your teammates, but with the depth chart. You demand wide receiver 1 every practice. You talk trash to the receivers coach. You bait the quarterback into throwing your way just so you can pick it and flex for the sideline. You're cocky, but you back it up, and they hate that. You start as a freshman, lock up as a sophomore. First team everything by junior year. Analysts say you've got pro-level instincts. Scouts say top 10 pick, easy. They start comparing you to legends. But the Heisman? Never even mentioned because you play defense, because you play corner. You shut down 3 future first-round receivers, but the finalist list is all quarterbacks who've never seen a defensive back they couldn't avoid. By the time draft day comes, you're already one of the most hated and most feared DBs in the country, and you wouldn't have it any other way because the island is your home now, and it's getting lonelier by the day. You go top 5. The team that picks you, a dumpster fire. bottom 5 pass defense, no real pass rush, a coordinator who still thinks cover 2 is revolutionary. But they don't draft you to develop, they draft you to fix it. All of it, right now. Day 1, you're matched up with all pro wideouts. Day 1, you're corner 1. Day 1, they expect you to erase names that have been eating DBs alive for a decade. The coaches say, just don't let them behind you. But your agent whispers, just don't get injured. And your instincts say, just make sure they feel you. You do your job. You follow wide receiver 1 across the field. No safety help, no excuses, no fear. And you lock him up. But guess what? The quarterback doesn't throw your way. So the box score says 0 tackles, 0 pass breakups. Analysts say, quiet game, didn't make much of an impact. Meanwhile, you just made a $20 million receiver look like a practice squad decoy. But here's what they don't tell you. At corner, the better you play, the less they notice. Next game, one hitch route gets caught in front of you, and now you're getting exposed. The rookie QB throws 3 picks. Growing pains. The rookie running back fumbles twice. Learning curve. You give up 1 completion? Maybe he's not ready. Maybe he's overhyped. Maybe he can't handle the NFL. Every snap is a headline. You are a rookie, but they're already judging you like a vet. You were drafted to save the defense. You don't get time to grow. You get thrown into the fire and told not to melt. And for what? To earn the right to be ignored when you finally figure it out? You've arrived. You're not just good, you're technically flawless. You don't grab, you don't panic, you don't bite. Quarterbacks look to your side, then check it down. Every single time. You're so good, you become invisible. Your name doesn't show up on the highlight reels because no one throws at you. Commentators say, quiet day from the corner. But the reality is, you just erased wide receiver 1 so thoroughly, he never even tried. And here's what is completely invisible to casual fans. You make a quarterback look away before the snap. You have mastered the hardest skill in football, and it's never mentioned. And when you finally get targeted, it's on 3rd and 8 against a slot fade. The pass is 5 inches high. The receiver gets one hand on it and can't bring it in. And somehow, you're trending on Twitter. He almost gave that up. He's not locked down like he used to be. No context, no film, just a screenshot and a bad camera angle. You spend the week correcting a narrative built on 1 incomplete pass in a game where you allowed 0 yards. Your coordinator gives you game balls in team meetings. Your position coach calls you elite behind closed doors. But publicly, you're just the guy who didn't get beat that badly on 1 play. Because you play corner. Because your excellence is expected. Because your perfection is the baseline. Because you're measured not by what you do, but by what you prevent. And the better you are, the less credit you get. Until 1 bad rep. Then they remember your name and never forget it. You're 29. You've made multiple Pro Bowls. You've been first team All-Pro. You've shadowed the best in the game and made them look ordinary. But now, you are losing a step. You still lock up 95% of reps. Still study film like it's gospel. Still know every split, release, and stem in the route tree. But your hamstring? It talks to you more than your DB coach. The burst is a split second slower. And the moment a receiver gets a step, washed. Overrated! Time to move on. The team wants to manage your snaps, put you in positions to succeed. What they mean is, they don't trust your legs anymore. You used to be feared. Now you're tested. Not because you're worse, but because you're not invincible anymore. You make 1 mistake in week 3, and suddenly your whole resume gets erased. Nobody mentions the 3 goal line stops. Nobody cares about the forced fumble. Nobody notices that you gave up 0 catches the last 2 weeks. They just post a clip of you getting beat, slow it down, add emojis, and make it go viral. The perfect coverage from yesterday? Ancient history. The pick 6 from last month? Forgotten. The receiver you shut down 4 straight games? Irrelevant. You're only as good as your last target, and at corner, that's a game of Russian roulette. The coaches still respect you. The film still shows you're elite, but perception buries you. And now the rookie, the one who got torched all preseason, he's next up because you're too expensive, too loud, too established. They don't want experience. They want youth. They want potential. And just like that, the island you built starts to sink, not because you can't play, but because every corner has an expiration date, and yours just came due. You don't announce your retirement. You don't get a farewell tour. You don't even get a locker anymore. You just stop getting calls. You stay in shape. You post workout clips. You reply "still got it" to old highlights. But deep down, you know, the league moved on. You gave them 10 years of lockdown. You gave them prime years, elite film, bloody knuckles, busted shoulders. You were the standard. Now, you're watching cornerbacks who couldn't carry your cleats get ESPN segments and 7-figure deals. You try a comeback. You sign with a new team, new system, new city. You're wearing a number that doesn't even feel like yours. They put you in zone. They rotate you out. They say it's load management, but you know what it is. You're just a name now, a ghost of what you used to be. You still have flashes, you still have juice, but one misstep in week 2 and the headlines say, it's time to hang it up. And just like that, the game you mastered for decades no longer has space for you. The quarterback you used to intercept, he's still starting at 38. The receiver you used to shadow, still getting separation at 35. But you were done at 31. Because corners don't gradually decline, they fall off cliffs. They go from shut down to shut down. And everyone pretends it's normal. Everyone acts like it's just the cycle. But it's not normal. It's not fair. It's not right. It's just what happens to corners. It's just what happens when you play a position built to break you. Now you're on TV, talking about guys who never had your instincts, never had your tape, never had your smoke. You break down film of corners getting cooked, and you're expecting to stay neutral. You smile through it, but you know damn well you were better. And here's the part they'll never understand. You weren't judged by what you did. You were judged by what you didn't allow. And no matter how many words you say into that microphone, you'll never get the respect you earned out there. Because that's what it means to be a cornerback. You're invisible when you're great. You're viral when you're not. And when it's all over, no one remembers what you stopped. They only remember what got by you. The quarterback wins the Super Bowl. The receiver makes the catch. But the corner just doesn't get beat. That's the cornerback life. That's the cornerback curse. That's why it sucks to be a cornerback. But you know what doesn't suck? The NFL draft, where some poor college kid is about to find out the truth you learned the hard way. That playing corner isn't just about covering receivers. It's about covering your own ass when the whole world is waiting for you to fail. If you're still here, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop your favorite cornerback of all time in the comments. You're 8 years old when your mom sits you down and explains why you can't live here anymore. Your older brother is in jail again. Your sisters all dropped out of high school with babies. The neighborhood is full of gangs, and your mom is terrified you're next. She's sending you to Oregon to live with your uncle because Southern California is eating her family alive, one kid at a time. You don't understand why you're being punished, but you pack your bag anyway. Your uncle picks you up at the airport and immediately lays down the law. no street clothes, no attitude, no excuses. This is a real household with real rules. You're scared of this man who speaks in commands and expects immediate obedience. But for the first time in your life, someone gives a damn where you go after dark. He signs you up for football at the high school before you even know the rules. You're fast, you're smart, you're angry, he says. Channel that energy before it destroys you like it destroyed your brother. You don't want to play football. You want to go home to California where nobody makes you do homework. First practice, they put you at safety. Last line of defense. If you mess up, touchdowns happen. The pressure is immediate and constant. But something about being the protector clicks. Maybe it's because you needed protecting yourself. Maybe it's because you understand what happens when the safety net fails. By sophomore year, you're starting varsity and playing like your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. It's proof that you're different from your siblings. Every tackle, every interception, every game-saving play puts more distance between you and the streets that claimed your family. College recruiters start calling your junior year. Not for your size. You're 5'10 and barely 180 pounds. But for your instincts. You read offenses like you grew up dodging trouble, which you did. The ability to see danger coming from every angle isn't natural talent, it's a survival skill. You choose USC because your uncle coaches there and because you believe God named you Troy for a reason. College ball is faster, more violent, more complex. But you adapt because adaptation is what you do. You've been the smallest guy in dangerous situations your whole life. Your teammates call you the Tasmanian Devil because you hit like a freight train despite weighing less than most linebackers. What they don't understand is that fury comes from somewhere specific. Every hit is payback for every time you felt helpless as a kid watching your family fall apart. You become a 2-time All-American and team captain. Lead the team in tackles 6 straight games. After wins, you don't celebrate like the others, you pray. Football stopped being a game the day it became your salvation. Every snap is a spiritual battle between the person you were and the person you're becoming. NFL draft night arrives, and you're projected mid-first round. Not bad for a safety, which is code for your position doesn't matter. The first 15 picks fly by, mostly quarterbacks, edge rushers, offensive linemen. Pittsburgh finally calls your name at 16. You smile for the cameras, but you're doing math on the disrespect. Your rookie contract is decent money for a safety, which means it's nothing compared to skill positions. 4 years, partially guaranteed. The quarterback you'll be playing with makes triple your salary. The running back you'll be tackling in practice signed for more than your entire deal. Training camp teaches you NFL economics quickly. Safeties are replaceable parts in a machine designed around quarterbacks. You're not drafted to be a star. You're drafted to be the last guy between explosive plays and the end zone. Fail once and everyone remembers. Succeed 1,000 times and nobody notices. Your first game, you make 7 tackles and break up 2 passes. Local papers mention your solid debut in paragraph 6. The quarterback throws for 300 yards. That's the headline. You just prevented 3 potential touchdowns, but defense doesn't sell jerseys. The hits start adding up immediately. Safeties absorb punishment from every angle. Receivers going over the middle, running backs hitting the hole, linemen peeling back on screens. Your body becomes a crash test dummy for offensive coordinators who design plays specifically to make safeties choose between stopping big plays and staying healthy. By year 3, you're making Pro Bowls and forcing turnovers, but the medical bills tell a different story. Concussions, shoulder separations, knee strains. The trainer knows your name better than most teammates. You pray before every game and after every hit because the line between protection and destruction gets thinner every Sunday. The irony isn't lost on you. You escaped street violence only to make a living using legal violence. The difference is this violence has rules, purpose, meaning. You're protecting something now instead of just surviving. Year 5, everything clicks. You lead the league in interceptions and win Defensive Player of the Year. Sports media finally notices safeties exist when you're picking off Hall of Fame quarterbacks and returning them for touchdowns. The city loves you. Teammates respect you. Opponents game plan around you. But success as a safety comes with a target on your back. Offensive coordinators spend entire weeks designing plays to test your coverage. They send their fastest receivers at your zone, their biggest tight ends over the middle, their most elusive running backs to the edges you're supposed to cover. You make the game-saving interception in the AFC Championship game, returning it for the touchdown that sends your team to the Super Bowl. The stadium erupts, your teammates mob you, and for a moment, you remember why you fell in love with this violent ballet. The next week, you win the Super Bowl. The celebration feels hollow. You've reached the mountaintop of your profession, but your body feels like it's been thrown down a flight of stairs. Your knees ache when it rains. Your shoulders pop when you reach for things. You're 28 years old and walking like your uncle. You convert to Orthodox Christianity and start making the sign of the cross after every play. Football saved you from the streets, but now you're questioning whether salvation through violence makes spiritual sense. You pray before games asking God to protect everyone on the field. Then spend 3 hours trying to knock people unconscious. The contradiction eats at you. Your faith teaches peace and love. Your profession demands controlled aggression and calculated violence. You compartmentalize by telling yourself you're protecting your teammates, your city, your family's future. But late at night, the questions multiply. Year 8. Your body starts sending eviction notices. The concussion in week 3 leaves you seeing double for days. The shoulder injury in week 7 requires surgery. The ankle sprain in week 12 never fully heals. You're still effective, but that split-second advantage is disappearing. Young safeties start looking different, faster, stronger, hungrier. The team drafts competition in the 3rd round, which means they're shopping for your replacement. You're still making plays, but the margin for error shrinks every season. One bad game and the whispers start. Lost a step. Year 12. Your body files bankruptcy during practice. Not a dramatic injury, just a routine coverage drill when your Achilles decides it's done with this life. The pop echoes across the field like a gunshot. Everyone stops and stares because that sound means the same thing in every stadium. Surgery, rehabilitation, false hope. You tell reporters you'll be back stronger than ever while secretly negotiating with reality. The team releases you during recovery with a statement thanking you for your tremendous contributions. 12 years of elite safety play reduced to corporate speak. One team calls with a minimum offer. You pass their physical on cortisone shots and denial. Practice squad. Then injured reserve. Then quietly released. No farewell tour, no ceremony, no jersey retirement. Just silence from a league that used your body as the last line of defense until it broke. The game moves on without missing a beat. Your replacement learns your old responsibilities like you never existed. You settle into civilian life with a permanent limp and a medicine cabinet that sounds like a maraca when you walk. Sunday football becomes a meditation on violence and purpose. You recognize the artistry in perfect coverage, the split-second decisions that separate good safeties from great ones. When young players get injured making the same plays you used to make, you feel guilt you probably shouldn't. Your legacy lives in highlight reels and stat sheets. 158 games, 32 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 2 Super Bowl rings. The quarterbacks you covered made millions in endorsements. You made millions in medical bills and memories that wake you up at night. But here's the thing about being a safety. You were the kid who got saved. So you spent your career saving others. For 12 years, you were the last line of defense between chaos and order, between big plays and disasters, between the streets you escaped and the field you conquered. That 8-year-old who got sent away to avoid becoming another casualty, he never really left Oregon. He just found a way to make protection and violence coexist. Every tackle was a prayer. Every interception was proof that broken kids can become guardians. Football didn't just save you from the streets, it taught you that sometimes the only way to protect what matters is to put yourself between danger and the people counting on you, even if it destroys you in the process.